Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about the film Iron Man. In preparation for the release of the Avengers movie, I thought I would review the two Marvel films that are connected to the Avengers that I haven't reviewed, which is Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. I have reviewed Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man 2. Iron Man, which came out in 2008, stars Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, who has been kidnapped by this evil kind of terrorist organization called the Ten Rings. They kidnap him and make him design a Jericho missile, which he has shown all over the world, and they force him to do this. They put an electric magnet in his body. When they kidnapped him, all this stuff, the stuff got into his body, so it helps him from, not dying. And he meets this guy, Jensen, and him and Jensen are supposed to build a missile, but instead they build the Iron Man suit, and Tony Stark escapes. He wants to do good with the world since he is a warmonger, I guess. Now has decided to have a soul and become Iron Man and help the world. Before this movie came out, no one really knew who Iron Man was. Some people, the comic fans knew. He was semi-well-known, but he really, I remember when his cartoon show was on in the 90s, I don't think anybody watched it. It was on in the Marvel Action Hour. Everyone I knew just watched Fantastic Four. It's an important part of the Marvel universe, but he was never a breakout character. And the fact that this movie turned out to be so good, you're hanging out with Tony Stark. Most of the movie is him when he's not in the cave, you're hanging out with him. He's testing out the Iron Man suit, he's learning the suit, he's learning how to fly. It's a lot more of a character study. There's a lot of patience in the directing from Jon Favreau, because let's see Tony Stark learn how to use this suit and invent the Iron Man suit, perfect it to where he can really go up against a bad guy at the end. And those character moments to me is why everyone really loves Iron Man, because you really got to hang out with him, you really got to relate to him. It's more of an Altman-y approach. Superhero movies, if you look at the first Spider-Man, they're developing the Green Goblin almost as soon as they're developing Spider-Man. Obadiah Stane doesn't really come in until kind of the third act. Really what you need to set up a franchise is set up a character. A lot of times with these superhero movies, there's so much plot, there's so much continuity you're commenting on, and Favreau really took that away. And I noticed in a film he did before this one, Elf, a lot of that is just character pieces with Will Ferrell's character, and that's what I really like about that movie. And that film's called Elf. This is called Iron Man. Its central focus is those characters. This film has a great performance by Robert Downey Jr. It reminds me of a lot of another actor who made a huge comeback in a big movie, which was Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. There's a level of play there, that he's having fun, that he wants you to have fun, that he's kind of a great guide, a great host to a party who wants everybody to have fun. And that's, I think, what Robert Downey Jr. really brings to Iron Man, and that's great for an awesome mainstream movie. It's worth noting that both Robert Downey Jr. and Jeff Bridges, kind of right after this, had huge career resurgences. I love Jeff Bridges as Obadiah Stane because he kind of slithers his way. The structure, the way it works, where Tony Stark really gets his redemption when he goes on that first mission as Iron Man, and that feels like the end. Jeff Bridges does such a great job of kind of sliming his way in there, oh no, it's not just the Ten Rings or whatever, it's I was behind it all along. I never can quite trust that character. He brings a kind of physicality to the role because he's very tall and large man, and he's always looking down on things and really imposing his stature throughout it. And I like the way he rubs his bald head. It feels like he was really into the bald head. I remember reading some Jon Favreau interview where he talks about how there really wasn't this Avengers plan when they were making Iron Man. It just kind of happened at the end. They filmed this funny scene, and then it became I think it was the week after Iron Man came out, they're we're gonna have Thor and Captain America and Avengers and Iron Man 2, and it's all gonna leave up to the Avengers. I hope superhero movies can be like this, where you really sit down and develop the character and look at, because most comic books don't have two supervillains. I hate the two supervillain thing and all these characters. They're more simpler stories. It's just simply an origin story. They explain the origin story and they take their time with it. They don't rush the origin story. And I think if this had been the structure of the first Spider-Man, I would not have liked this movie as much. I feel like the studio had just the right amount of involvement in this film, and gave the director just the right amount of control, and it worked very well. I don't think they've done that ever since then, you know, they feel like Marvel movies. They don't feel like they're really directed by someone the way this does. So if you have seen Iron Man you would like to talk about, then comment below in the comments, and subscribe if you would like to. And I will be hopefully reviewing, probably in 24 hours from the upload of this video, the Incredible Hulk, which is the other movie that led up to the Avengers, which I haven't reviewed. And then after that, the review of the Avengers, hopefully, definitely. All right.